You probably think you're in total control of what you click, read, and watch online. You log on, scroll around, and pick the articles or videos that genuinely interest you. But a recent study out of the University of Illinois set out to test exactly how much of that choice is real. Researchers built a complete working simulation of Reddit's trending feed, known as r/popular. This is a screenshot of the interface the researchers used. They took identical Reddit posts and secretly shuffled their ranking on the feed, asking participants to click those blue select buttons for the topics they wanted to read more about. By holding the actual content constant and only changing its position on the page, the researchers isolated the exact influence of the platform's invisible digital architecture. When researchers dropped a post from number 1 down to rank 6 through 10, engagement plummeted by 40%. Yet 94% of participants explicitly stated they made choices based entirely on the content itself. Here is the actual pop-up survey users filled out to explain those choices. Participants routinely use these scales to justify their clicks based on perceived personal relevance, completely blind to the fact that their attention was being steered entirely by feed placement. When the baseline visibility of the news we consume is actively shuffled without our knowledge, our sense of independent, rational choice is little more than an illusion. Getting placed at the top of a feed is only a natural step. Once algorithmic rank forces a post in front of your eyes, the content itself deploys a set of psychological triggers designed to hijack your attention. This traces back to the early days of the internet, when digital advertising shifted from paying publishers just to display an ad to a pay-per-click model. Suddenly, revenue was tied directly to raw traffic volume, financially rewarding anyone who could write the most extreme, sensationalized headlines. To generate those clicks, writers rely on the curiosity gap. This formatting trick highlights the exact space between what you know and what you want to know. By deliberately withholding a crucial piece of context, the headline creates an almost unbearable biological urge to click and find the answer. Then there is the negativity bias. We are evolutionarily wired to pay attention to potential dangers. Because of this, exaggerated threats and manufactured outrage will always capture human attention significantly faster than positive information. In 2012, a media site called Upworthy weaponized these exact formulas. By churning out highly emotional, curiosity-inducing headlines, they built an audience of almost 90 million monthly readers in under 2 years. Though the success collapsed just as quickly, once Facebook adjusted its algorithm to measure time spent reading rather than just initial clicks. Clickbait serves as a calculated exploit of human evolutionary biology, engineered specifically to farm our engagement for profit. The manipulation doesn't stop at the headline. Sometimes the entire origin of the information is a fabrication. Take a look at this town in North Macedonia. Leading up to the 2016 U.S. presidential election, teenagers in the economically depressed town of Velis built highly lucrative content farms, mass-producing hyper-partisan fake news articles for American voters. These foreign content creators didn't necessarily care about the political outcome. They simply knew how to target the psychological triggers of conservative audiences to generate massive amounts of ad revenue. Fabricating sources to manipulate the press is a legacy tactic long used by the powerful to shape public perception. Throughout the 1980s and 90s, Donald Trump regularly called reporters using fake pseudonyms like John Barron and John Miller, effectively acting as his own publicist. Under these aliases, he planted sensational stories to artificially dominate the news cycle. He lied to Forbes reporters to inflate his reported net worth, and he even called tabloids to brag about which celebrities wanted to date him. These instances, from Macedonian teenagers seeking ad revenue to powerful New York moguls seeking status, show how easily individual bad actors can distort the news cycle for private gain. By trusting the authenticity of these narratives simply because they appear in a professional format, we allow those distortions to become the foundation of our worldview. These 3 distinct layers of manipulation, invisible algorithmic ranking, biological clickbait triggers, and fabricated sources, work together to build the modern attention economy. The consequences of this system are measurable. According to a 2016 BuzzFeed analysis, during the final 3 months of the U.S. election, the amount of engagement with completely fake news stories officially outperformed real news coverage on major social media platforms. We cannot control the invisible algorithms organizing our feeds, but we can control our behavioral response. Researchers have outlined a practical misinformation mitigation toolbox to help navigate this environment. First, recognize your own emotional surges. If a headline makes you immediately angry or shocked, it is likely designed to bypass your critical thinking. Second, actively verify the actual source before assuming the information is authentic. And third, read the full context of the article before you hit share. Online autonomy is a product of active resistance, rejecting the impulse to blindly scroll and choosing instead to critically verify.